Today, and I, Jonna Green, we're going to show you how to make your own homemade soap. And this is a wonderful thing to have because it's part of being self-sufficient. And the soap you make yourself is way better than what you can buy in the store. Unless you pay like lots and lots of money. Okay, some of the important things you need to have is your oils. According to your recipe, what kind of oils will you be using? For our recipe today, we're going to be using vegetable shortening, coconut oil. You can purchase coconut oil at a health food. It's kind of expensive. And also we're going to be using olive oil. So ours is an all vegetable soap that we're making. You need lye. Get the Red Devil lye that says 100% lye on the container. Usually you can get this at a hardware store. It costs you about $6 right now for it. A safety thing to have on hand is some vinegar. So you need a little bit of vinegar and put it in like a bowl with some water. And this is just a safety. If you get the lye on you, you can quickly put your hand or splash the vinegar water on you, and it helps to neutralize everything. So that's important to have. You need saran wrap in your measuring, because what we do is, and one of the other things you need is your scale. Everything needs to be measured exactly. So what I do is I take my bowl and I put plastic wrap on it so that I measure one thing, I take it out, and it's still clean because we don't want to go through all that heavy-duty cleaning. Need a pitcher where your lye and water is going to go into, and you need 2 different thermometers. One will be for your lye water, and it needs to be, this one goes from 0 to 220 degrees. You need to be able to measure things that are around 95 to 110 degrees. So you don't usually get that with your meat thermometers. And that's what this is. This is like a candy meat thermometer. So this will be for my oils, which I'll have in a stainless steel pan. And this is a stainless steel spoon that I have. So all the oils are going to go in here. And this is my thermometer that goes up pretty high for that. Okay, the other thing that is very nice to have is a stick blender. And this is a stick blender. It's just an electric blender. It's for making your little shakes and stuff. And we'll show you later how to use that. You can make soap without this. You'll just stir a lot longer. Okay, and then the last thing that you need is your mold. And a babysitter. Okay, so what we have discovered makes a wonderful mold, and the kids really like us to use these too, is you get the little Pringle type containers. For an 8-pound batch of soap, you need 4 Pringles containers, or whatever. Pringles is getting advertising here. And what you're going to do ahead of time is you're going to grease these containers really good inside. So you're going to grease them and have them ready to go. And the lids, and the lids are important. Keep your lids, wash it out, grease them up, and then your lids are going to go on top of your soap. And this will keep it nicely insulated. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to work on our water, because you want to get your lye going first. So we're going to take this plastic pitcher.
It's still there.
Okay, you're going to use a plastic pitcher, and what you need to do is you take your empty pitcher and you put it on your scale and make sure that it's reading 0. You need to get right in front of the scale and look at it, make sure it's 0. Now our recipe calls for 28 ounces of water. You can add ice cubes to this. Okay, so we have 28 ounces of water here, which is the equivalent of 1 pound, 12 ounces. And it has ice in it. Can you hear that? You probably want to come over here. Okay, wait. Now we need to do our lye. Okay, I've got the bowl with the plastic wrap on top. I set it on my scale. It's not at 0, so I want to make sure it goes right on to 0. We need 12 ounces of lye. I forgot to tell you, you need gloves. So any kind of glove will work, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you put your gloves on before dealing with your lye. A safety tip, it's more than a safety tip. Never, ever, ever, ever add water to your lye. Always add your lye to your water, because what happens with the lye, when it hits the water, it heats up, and of course when things heat up, they expand. So you need the water already there so the heat can expand into the water in the container. If you have the lye first in your container and you add the water, it will explode. So let's have the water first. Okay, so we need 12 ounces of lye. This is an 18-ounce can, so we will have leftovers. Even if your can or your container says that is the amount that you need, you should still measure. Sometimes companies will give you just a tad bit more. Okay, that's right at 12 ounces. So we're going to come over to our container, and we're going to watch as we add the lye. Remember, this is ice water in here. Can you get it in there? Okay, so we're going to add this, and you're going to see that ice just kind of disappear. I'm using a wooden spoon. My ice cubes are starting to melt now. My water's looking like milk. You can wear a mask if it bothers you with the fumes. I don't have too much of a problem with it. See, my ice is almost entirely gone. You can probably tell by the sound. Now, if I were to touch this, it's hot. Your water can actually get up to boiling. So if you didn't have the ice cubes in there ahead of time, then your water would probably be boiling right about now. So that's going to just sit for a while. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and measure all of our oils now and put them in our pan. At that point, we'll come back to you and let you know what's going on. Okay, if you can see in here, we've got all of our oils measured out. The coconut oil, the olive oil, and the shortening are all in here. We've got the stove on, and this we can just let it melt at its own good time. Over in the sink, over here, we have our lye water, which is still, you can feel on the outside, it is hot. And it's been quite a while. So this is a waiting time right now, and this takes more time than any other part of making soap. So we have our temperatures at our little thermometers at each post, and we just wait and be patient. We want, your recipe will tell you what temperature you want. But we're going for 100 degrees in this temperature. So this needs to be like 98 to 100. It can be within 5 degrees of each other, but you want it as close as possible. And our recipe that we're using says 100 degrees. So our oil, 100 degrees. Our lye can be 98 to 100, maybe 101, but no more than that. And then we'll bring the two together and we'll go through the process of how you make soap. We have our pot in the water here. We had to cool it down, and you'll have to do that. Just play with things a little bit to heat them up slightly or cool them down a little. So our pot is at 105 degrees. We just happen to have cool soapy water. You don't need soap in your water, though. And we're going to transfer it over to this sink. So you have your pot of your melted oil. You don't need your thermometers anymore. Our lye solution is at the right temperature. So now we're going to start stirring, and this is very important. Okay, this is the beginning of your saponification process. Saponification is the process of changing lye and oil into soap. Okay, now watch for the color change. I'm slowly stirring the lye into the oil. You want to keep it moving, keep it moving. And you'll notice at first it gets dark, and then it's going to get light and creamy color. See, it's yellow right now. Your oils will determine some of the colors. And pour that in a little bit quicker. Okay. The figure 8 is a good stirring pattern to use. Okay. So lye is in there. And this is one of the nice things about using the pitchers, because you can just pour it in there. You don't have it splashing all over. And this countertop's just the right height. Keeps it down low instead of being so high up in the air. Okay. So they're mixed together, and it's still very, very just wet filling. It's not stiff, it's just very liquidy. Now that I've got those together, I can start to use my stick blender, or wand blender. Okay, you put it in, tilt it to get the air bubbles out. We have a lot of air bubbles in here right now, but that should disappear. Okay, keep your spoon to the side because you'll need it. Turn it on and just work it around. You cannot leave a stick blender on for very long at a time because you'll burn up your motor. Different recipes will saponify quicker than others. Some you can do it in 1 minute, others it'll take up to 4